Hi, I'm Mike Driscoll, co-founder and CEO of Metamarkets, and welcome to Behind the Scenes. Today I'm joined by our VP of Product, Jacob Mattingley, and we're going to be talking about APIs. Welcome, Jacob.
Thanks, Mike.
So tell us a little bit about what the Metamarkets API is and our motivation for building it.
A lot of our customers have really enjoyed using Metamarkets over the years to understand and act on their data. And it's great that they can do that interactively with Metamarkets, but the API brings that same capability to their computer systems instead. And the idea is that anything you can see, anything you can act on in the Metamarkets interface is now something that you can retrieve via the API as well.
So one of the use cases we've heard about from our customers using the API is discrepancy checking. Tell me a little bit about what that means in the context of digital media and how the API is being used to fulfill that.
Yeah, so as everyone typically knows within ad tech, there are many different parties who take part in every individual advertising transaction. And that means that there's lots of different opinions about the correct metrics, such as impressions or clicks or something like that. Understanding those differences and getting to the bottom of discrepancies when they differ is one of the most important but also one of the most infuriating parts of trying to run an ad business. Now, Metamarkets provides a pretty powerful capability to understand why things might differ and get really into the weeds and solve discrepancy problems, but it often requires a lot of manual work. With the Metamarkets API, you no longer have to have humans involved in checking these things on a routine basis, and you can save the people for situations where you've found a discrepancy. So the basic idea is if you're running an ad business, you have one internal system perhaps or a third-party system that's reporting impression counts. You can use the Metamarkets API to get our opinion of how many impressions there were and then involve a human when an automated check determines that there is a difference between the two sources.
So another use case that I've heard as well beyond discrepancy checking is this term inventory discovery and the ability for folks to find out what's for sale on a marketplace and at what price.
Yep.
Tell me a bit more about that use case.
Yeah, so that's a really important use case for a lot of our customers and especially for buyers on exchanges. And the idea there is that if you're a buyer planning a campaign, getting up-to-date information about both the volume and the price of the inventory that you have in mind is crucial to making that campaign successful. Now again, what we've seen is a lot of people turn to Metamarkets to understand that and make choices about how to run their campaign. But there's often a lot of other systems involved as well. So what we're finding is that our more advanced buyers, and in some cases with assistance from exchanges, are turning to the API to get up-to-date information about pricing and availability of the inventory.
So that sounds fantastic because I think every marketplace wants more spend from their buyers, so anything that helps that occur seems to be a win. What are some of the other use cases of APIs that you foresee that maybe we haven't yet seen flourish but you anticipate could happen in the next year?
Yeah, so there's lots of routine things that are rather boring for humans to do. And those are obvious cases where an API can make it faster, more efficient, and more accurate as well. And some of those things include block lists, making sure that campaigns are being executed correctly, and just giving general metrics on the business. So that's pretty interesting. But getting into the more out there applications, a lot of companies that we work with have data science teams. And they're often having to deal with very large SQL queries or long-running Hadoop jobs to get the data they need. With the Metamarkets API, they can pull data directly into something like R and do the analysis using data that might be only 15 minutes old. So I think data analysis, applications, data science is a good fit for the Metamarkets API.
As a former data scientist, we often said that 80% of our time was spent getting the data and 20% of the time was spent analyzing it. So I guess our API is helping with that 80% effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, one of the focuses that we've had during development is on making that first 80%, if you like, as fast and as fun as possible. And we have a query builder that will interactively help you generate a correct and working query in one of 5 different languages. And that means that that time spent doing data janitoring, I think is a term you like to use, is minimized, and you can get on to the juicy and more business driving part of your work.
Sounds very exciting. Jacob, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to our next engagement.
Sounds good.